I'm gonna make
All
you
right,
go
we're
2 hours.
yeah,
I'm gonna make you go 2 hours today.
that's all right. I could just get up and walk off. Just text me when you're done. I'll come back in and just finish it all.
Wow.
Oh gosh.
Oh, man, this delay is gonna
Yeah,
kill
we're
me, bro.
live, by the way. Oh, the 4 second delay we've got between the two of us.
Well, yeah. Well, I just looked online and I'm like a little swirly thing on
Oh
online, so I
gosh.
don't even think I'm on.
Well, I mean, you're on for me. Um, yeah, good times. Well, let's see. I'm looking on the Dope and Dharma Facebook thing right now, and you're also. Oh no, you're on. When you actually click on it, you're on. So good times. All right. Well, I'm ready when you are. I
Hold
shared
on.
it, so good times. Do I sound horribly congested? Because I still am slightly.
Oh yeah.
It's okay. I've got nature's medicine right here. I got the OJ. We're good. That's all it takes. Oh, hey.
What was it there? What was it Thursday?
I don't know. You ready? Because this is dead
Yeah,
air right now.
that's all right. We're not on radio yet.
Well, technically we are.
I guess Facebook people, right?
Well, no, we're also on YouTube. We're also on
Oh,
Twitch.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's on all that right now. Oh, Jesus.
Yes. And we take this recording and we put it up for all the podcasting stuff as well. So, yes.
What? Just like this? You don't even edit the front end?
No. No,
What
I
do you
put
mean
it
you don't
all up.
edit the front end?
No, it's behind the scenes, man. Give people a look
Are
inside
you,
our brains.
bro? Are you serious right now?
100%. Because it usually doesn't last as long. It's usually like 4 seconds,
Damn,
5 seconds.
Trinity.
Right now, we're sitting here at, I don't even know how long this has been. Come on, Grandpa.
Yeah, but I don't even think about that. When I controlled the damn thing, I edited it down so people don't have to watch this crap.
Well, I used to. But when we switched to this one, I didn't.
I'm sorry, people.
But this is what they want.
All right, I'm ready.
I think this is what they want. All right, let's do it. Intro.
Shut up and sit down.
Boom.
Boom. Hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing? Yeah, a little 2 booms and 1 4-minute delay or 4-second delay. Boom.
Yeah.
Me. Anyway, what's up, everybody? I'm the street certified dope, Dr. Louis Delgado. We are Dope and Dharma, and this is the middle edition of Dope and Dharma, which we do on Fridays. Usually around 12-ish. And this time it wasn't me. It wasn't me. So I'm happy. It wasn't my delay this time. And I know that some of you that watch our other shows like the Couch Live or Dharma Time, you missed them this week because of Trinity, my partner right there. The Dharma guy, Trinity Phillips, is down with monkeypox. So he's been unable to do the show. So
how crappy is that?
Hold
on.
So tell us all.
You get the excuses usually of like you're jet setting across the nation here, going and talking to people and being paid for your opinion and your time. My excuse is I'm like near death with this freaking COVID crap. So things are not all equal there.
Well, so, I mean, somebody had to try the monkeypox out so they could tell us what monkeypox is all about.
Yeah, right.
And, how severe is it really? You know what I mean? And are you going to go get the monkeypox vaccine, Trinity, now that your family has been suffering from it?
So for those of you who do not follow us on social media and did not see my post over the weekend, last week, matter of fact, a week ago today, so last Friday during the morning time, afternoon, I felt perfectly fine. Didn't notice anything different at all. That night, so Friday evening, we were actually redoing my son's aquarium. So I found a new hobby. I think it was kind of cool, making that into like a scene, I guess. But that night we were doing that
because of it.
Well, I canceled because yeah. Well, I didn't put any pictures of my son, so we're good. Um, but anyways, yeah. So we were doing this fish tank and stuff, and kind of just it was like 11 o'clock at night or something. And I remember telling my wife, man, I feel like I'm maybe coming down with something. You know that like that pre sickness or pre allergy where you feel like something feels off. Well, that's what I was feeling. It was Friday night. It was very minor. It was just like a indication. I woke up Saturday feeling like allergies have really hit me pretty bad. I didn't feel full on sick just yet, but I just felt like allergies. Like, oh man, this is not. I'm not quite sick, but whatever. Um, and it just started getting worse. And then by Saturday afternoon, early evening, my wife made me take a COVID test. Came back positive, and then I was like, well, shit. I guess this means I have COVID now. Um, really thought I was going to make it through without it. My whole house was sick with it back in the day, and I didn't get it. So I was like, hey, I got natural immunity. I do not. I got COVID, and then that was Saturday. So Saturday night was just bad, man. Like I'm talking Friday night was like, oh, I feel a little something. Saturday night, 103 plus fever. I'm freaking shaking uncontrollably, sweating all over the place. I feel like I'm like dying. Like, what the hell is happening? It was not fun. That went on for like a couple days. I ended up calling my doctor. He put me on this new drug I didn't hear of, but apparently my mom told me about it. It's called Paxlovid. It's a new antiviral that they think is working well for COVID symptoms to lessen the severity of everything. So I started taking that. It turns out I probably shouldn't have been taking that. Two of the drugs that I'm already taking for the heart stuff apparently are contraindicated for that, and they only caught one of them. The one that they caught wasn't like a big deal. It was basically just could potentially cause excessive bleeding if I get cut or something. Wasn't a huge risk. I'm not out there like cutting trees down or anything. But the other one, it's kind of a problem. It was the one that slows my heart rate down. So apparently, the drugs for the COVID thing speed up the metabolism of that drug, so it makes it go faster. So, in theory, my heart could slow down too fast, too quickly. So thankfully that didn't happen, but it kind of sucks that they didn't catch it until it was literally on the last day of the 5-day course. So whatever. What are you
So
gonna
this
do?
is a prescribed medication?
Yeah, yeah. And actually, it's not even really a new med. When I looked it up, it's two different meds they use for different things. That when you take them together, it's an antiviral for COVID, I guess. But I don't know. I took it. It feels like it made things better for the most part. So if you're out there and you're listening to this and you're testing positive for COVID, I would encourage you to look into asking your doctor about Paxlovid. Just make sure that you check the drug
Hey,
interactions.
views and opinions addressed by Trinity
Well,
Phillips or his and
I
his
say I
alone.
didn't tell you to take it. I said ask your doctor about it. There's nothing wrong with that. Let your doctor tell you whether you should or shouldn't take it. I'm just
Well,
saying.
apparently your doctor didn't know the contraindications, so make
Yeah,
sure your
well,
doctor is well read, well
yeah,
educated, and understands
yeah.
contraindications.
Having said that, I definitely feel like I'm on the mend at the moment. I've reached a point now where I don't really feel very feverish anymore. I'm mostly just ridiculously exhausted, man. Like I feel fatigued, man. Like I just walking 10 steps just makes me feel really exhausted.
You're forgetting everybody's had it. Here's the part.
Yeah,
You're
right.
coming late to the party. You're coming late to the party,
Yeah,
Trinity. You're giving
yeah,
you're giving us a report as if nobody's had this.
right.
You're like 2 years late to the party,
Yeah.
bro.
I will say though, like I have a whole newfound appreciation for what you guys all went through when you've already had it. Like, holy shit, dude. Like this was not fun. Like I've been sick before, but this was a different level of sick, man. So I have a whole new appreciation. It's a club that I wish I didn't join. Alas, I am here though. So good times. And for those of you who are wondering, that's where we've been. That's why we haven't been doing shows this whole week.
Dude, I feel like you're coming on and you're going, hey, there's this new streaming channel I learned about Netflix. You know,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
right.
bro, it's like, where
Yeah.
you been? So just to confirm, just to close this off. So the COVID test actually test for monkeypox as well. Then is that what you're saying?
Supposedly, right? I don't know. The one thing I will say,
my theory is that you got monkeypox. You didn't get COVID,
right?
man. There's no more COVID. You got monkeypox.
I will say though that new medicine, there's a serious side effect. It just is. Oh, it's the worst. It leaves
anal dripping,
horrible. No, I already had
anal
that.
leakage.
No, it leaves this horrible taste in your mouth, man. It's like a mix between sour, metal, and like bitter. It's the nastiest taste ever. You cannot get rid of it. Huh?
Isn't that a symptom of a stroke or something like that?
Yes,
well, isn't
I'm having a stroke.
Like a stroke, like metal taste in your mouth or something?
Yes, live on air. Yes.
Okay.
So anyways, all right. So let's talk some politics.
Can I have your truck?
Sure. You want to pay the gas for it?
I'll just play on it like a jungle gym.
Yeah, there you go. All right, anyway, let's talk politics, man.
Well, I'm glad you're all right. I'm glad you're alive. Poor Angel's in the other room, still sick, dying.
Yeah.
I wish you're well. Yeah. At least maybe this is the only way that she'll listen to the show. Maybe she's listening to the show because
she's sleeping right now. She's a professional sleeper, and this just kicked it in overtime.
All right. So yeah, there's a couple things going on. First of all, obviously, the big news of the day, when you woke up today, is President Biden's on his way to Saudi Arabia, and he arrives and he does a little fist bump with the Saudi prince. So that's on everybody's mind. So first of all, why the hell is he going to Saudi Arabia? Do you even why is he going? I have flipped back. Well, yeah, I have flipped back and forth from CNN to Fox to kind of figure out what are they going to tell us in regards to why he's in Saudi Arabia. It's not good. I mean, it's like nobody's really talking about why he's there, just that he's there and how controversial it is. It's like, all right, well then why not? Why isn't he down in South Texas then? Where there's a lot of controversy, but at least there's something that's bothering people. Go talk about it. Why not go up? If it's about oil, why not go to Alaska or that are affected by the pipeline and talk to them? Go to where the oil refineries are, or again, Texas. You could have killed two birds with one stone. You could have done the border and oil in Texas. I mean, if the conversation is oil, so is it left up to us of why he's in Saudi Arabia, or is it safe to assume it's about oil? What do you think it is?
Yeah, I don't know. It is quite the conundrum, though, right? Like on one hand, everybody's tired of paying the high gas prices, and we're assuming a path to lessen that would be through Saudi Arabia, considering the fact that they're the major oil producers that we've been using for many years. That and them in Russia, of course,
and us.
Yeah, and us. But then the other half of that conundrum that I'm seeing a lot of too, especially when you go back and forth, is a lot of people are really upset that he may or may not hold Saudi Arabia to task for their human rights violations, right? Like, it's one of those things where it's like, hey, I don't like paying gas prices. Do something about it. Like, okay, well, we're going to go talk to people who give us the oil. Well, you shouldn't talk to those people because they're bad. Well, it's like, what do we do, man? Yeah. So it's weird. It's an interesting thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, CNN, that's all they're talking about is Jamal Khashoggi. Obviously, a journalist got killed. You're not supposed to kill journalists. You're supposed to kill everybody else but journalists, children, kids. There's like a list of
you can
people
don't
kill, and the journalists are on that list. Yeah. You can kill men that have uniforms,
unless it's a male journalist,
but not right. But the problem is they killed Jamal Khashoggi, and remember that was big news, and it was even talked about on the campaign trail. Look, Biden was saying, he's going to hold them accountable. What did he call them, like pariah or something like that? He was acting all Mr. And this is typical Biden, right? He acts like a big tough guy when he's just in front of a camera and in the microphone, right? He just, we're going to make them pay. Like, remember the Border Patrol agents? They're going to pay.
Yeah.
And then everybody else, they're going to pay. And, he gets all tough and talks a lot of smack. And then when you need something, you come like, hey, buddy, let's fist bump. Hey, bro. All of a sudden he was, hey, you're my dog. All of a sudden he's Mr. Buddy Buddy. What happened to Jamal Khashoggi, man? Wasn't it the Saudi prince that ordered the death of Khashoggi? I mean, weren't we gonna make them pay for that? Oh, or was that just to get elected? Was that just this is one of those times where a politician acts like he gives a shit about somebody or acts like he cares about human rights, but only to get elected, but really doesn't have to do anything about it. It's a good soundbite that you're going to make them pay. But apparently you're not. You're fist bumping the guy that supposedly called for the murder of Jamal Khashoggi.
Well, he who has all the gold makes the rules, and it just
but now it doesn't. But that's the thing. They don't. No, they don't. We have it. It's like having you got a bunch of dollars in your pocket, and there's some of you out there. There's a statistics out there. There's a lot of people that actually shoplift, actually have money in their pocket. So some of you shoplifters out there, you know what I'm talking about. You got money in your pocket, but you're like, I'm gonna steal anyway. That's what we're doing here, right? We're visiting Saudi Arabia to maybe help with this oil deal when we have oil. Like, why don't I still don't? Do we have enough answer of why we aren't doing it ourselves, dude? We have so much. We have reserves. We have oil that we can still do. We have pipelines half built, or mostly like 3/4 way built. That we can produce it more. We haven't built a new refinery. We've done new refineries in years. Remember, Biden ran on green energy and the climate change. So riddle me this, sir. If they do this stuff, oil refinery stuff over there, does it make the earth less something because it's over there? Like is if we're green and we're electric, but everybody else is refining oil and we're still using it, the consumers that we are, like, does it make it less dangerous on Earth, or is the climate change only relevant right over our heads, like in the United States? Is that possible?
I'm not a scientist.
I mean, because does it make any sense? Why are green policies or climate change policies only relevant, like, if we're doing it here, but it's not relevant over there? Like, so if anyone on that continent over there are, digging into the ground and digging up oil and digging for oil and refining it and doing all the pollutants that come with that, somehow that doesn't do what we're trying to prevent. It makes no sense to me. And I'm just an average person. I'm not saying I'm smarter than anyone, because I'm not. I'm just simply asking as the dumb individual that I am, that how the hell does it make sense when you run on, well, we're going to have green energy and because of climate change is why we're not going to do our pipeline, and because of the environment and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, but we're still going to consume because we're still
still going to buy theirs.
Yeah. But now we're going to pay someone else to do it and let them have a leg up on us we're going to go, hey, how are you? I know you're a murderer and killer, but hey, let's fist bump. Hey, cool you. I hate weakness when it comes to power, man. Yeah, I would much rather a leader that's kind of a jerky, real tough guy than supposedly act like a nice guy, but you're really just a moody grandparent that's like weak. You have no
the
real
thing that I don't like about some of this is I just don't like bullshit, and it just feels like there's so much of it, right? Like it's bullshit when you come out and say, well, we're going to do this and we're going to do that, knowing damn good and well you need them for the oil. So you're not going to do all those things. You're going to negotiate. You're going to be diplomatic. You're going to figure out ways of making it work. And we all know that. But instead of just being honest and saying that, you make all these bullshit promises and these bullshit talking points to fire up, the crazy people, instead of just being honest and be like, hey, you're crazy. We're not going to do that. That's stupid. There's a reason why you're not a politician. There's a reason why you weren't elected.
But I'm still going to give you pushback on the word need, because, all right, and maybe it's not relevant, but I'm just asking again as an uneducated guy in this. But we stopped on day one. He stopped our pipeline, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Then, like on day 5 or 10, or right close to that day, we were okay with the Russia's pipeline, right? Russia, the same people that are now getting all the blame for this problem, getting all the blame for the oil thing. We actually okayed this Russia pipeline, right? Then now we're bagging Saudi Arabia, who we had issues with for legitimate reason, but Now we're begging them for more oil production. So why can't you just come out and say I was wrong? Why don't you just say, you know what, I screwed up.
That's the bullshit that I'm talking about.
I shouldn't let Russia do this. Now I got to go kiss Saudi Arabia's ass. I messed up from day one. Maybe I should have kept our pipeline going.
That's the bullshit I'm
need to
talking
fix this,
about.
people. Dude, let me tell you something. If a politician would ever just do that, wasn't there like a movie made of like an honest politician? Like he did very well,
sure.
because we weren't used to that. Like it was so crazy. Like, I mean, just what's it gonna hurt you, bro? What's it gonna hurt you, bro? What's it gonna hurt you? You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm talking about. Like, I'm tired of the bullshit. Like, you know, I don't know if that's why he's over there for the oil or not. They haven't like publicly announced it yet, and apparently he's not going to have a press conference. So we're all just going to guess. But either way, like oil or not, you can't just go around swinging your thing around, hitting everybody in the head with it. Like, it just doesn't work that way anymore. So you have to be diplomatic. You have to make friends with people. You have to like kind of, schmooze with people you don't necessarily want to schmooze with to get what you want. Like, we all know this. We all do it every day. Like anybody here who works at an actual place, a brick and mortar place, you do it every day. There's people you don't really like, but you still kind of figure out ways of working with because you need something from them, and so we all know that, but they're not honest about it. And that's what irritates the hell out of me. It's bullshit. Like, come on, man. Like you said, you messed up. All right, I messed up. It is what it is. I'm human. Y'all didn't elect a god. You elected a president. Presidents make mistakes sometimes. But the problem with the bullshit is it fires up both sides then, because both sides feel like they got a gotcha thing, and they got this, if you were to come out and say, hey, I made a mistake, I misjudged this or whatever, then it's going to absolutely, it disarms anybody out there who thinks they have a gotcha moment. Oh, you got COVID now, like through the microphone.
Yeah, you're giving it to me through the damn microphone, bro.
There it is.
That's my point, bro. I'm with you. Look, what really bothers me is just that, look, I get that you as a politician don't want to say it. I get that you're afraid to admit being wrong. But then when we have, news agencies, I'm flipping all morning, and like nobody on one particular side ever mentions our own oil independence that we had, our own energy independence that we had. Then the other side, that's all they mention. It's like, hey, we had oil independence. We had energy independence. So I really want to know who's telling us the truth. Are the Crips telling us the truth that we've always just been like needy of everyone and we've never had independence? And because, whenever we exerted our independence, we like killed all the glaciers and stuff? Or are the Bloods telling the truth and they're saying, no, we had it, but we felt that some things are more important, and therefore we fought to give up some of our energy independence for some more important details? Just who's telling the truth? It's like you don't know, man. There's no source that we have that is just completely honest news is the problem.
Yeah, you're not going to get any complaints from me calling the media the problem right now, because they are absolutely the problem. It is not. They're not even trying to hide it anymore. That's the bad part, dude. They're just straight up saying, nope, this is the team we play for, and this is the news we're given. Like, and that's the problem. Is there's so many people reporting other things. Like it's so painstakingly obvious now that it's all bullshit. That's my favorite word for today is bullshit.
I see that. Thank God we're not doing a radio show today and it's a podcast.
Exactly. I'm taking advantage of it.
It's getting so bad, Trinity, that here's what I'm going to do after the show today. I'm going to Google Cronkite, and I'm going to call every Cronkite that exists out there and ask him for some help. We need a new Walter Cronkite. I don't care. So if you have the last name Cronkite, I can't even say the name today. If you have that last name, I'm calling you up, and we need your news.
Yeah, until we find out he was dirty too, right? Like, how long has this been going on? That would suck, dude. That would suck to find out, like, all them older ones that we used to watch when I was younger, but to find out that they were all dirty and crooked as well, that would suck.
Well, man. There's a lot.
Just a fact, man.
Let me tell. Here's why I'll fight against that. There was a lot of stuff said about Peter Jennings after he got out of journalism about his seriously left leanings or something like that. But you know what? Whether he had it or not, it wasn't as evident. It wasn't evident like when he did the news. Apparently, this dude was very, very one way And yet he got up there and he did his job, man. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I didn't see
Sure.
it. You know what I mean? Now that's not, but it may be like one of those things. How you know how you go back and watch Bugs Bunny now and you catch all the stuff that you didn't catch when you were like 5. Well, maybe now.
Yeah.
If you go back and watch these things, maybe you'll catch the little eyes or whatever. You know how
Right.
Shepard Smith, like Shepard Smith does, like the news. Like he's probably one of those, but he'll do it like, well, Trump went, and then he'll give you that face. You know, like you can tell. You could tell. I mean, he's not saying it, but his face is like, well, Trump did something today,
Right.
you know. So we're there asking for oil. As far as we know, we don't know. We don't.
Yeah,
know
it's the assumption.
We don't know why he's over there. I mean, maybe I don't know. Maybe he went over there for lunch. I don't know. There's so many other places to go. Is what I'm saying. I guess there's just so many issues. I mean, and gas is one of them. Oil is one of them. So I'm glad at least he's doing it. I mean, I put gas yesterday. It was at 401. I don't know where it is where you're at. It was 401, which is better.
Dude, I haven't even left the house, so I don't know.
But we know this is a temporary fix right now that's been going on. You know, so we just need a more permanent fix, but hopefully. Anyway, all right, what's next?
We either got abortion or tax on democracy. Which one you want to tackle first?
Let's go on. Let's talk about the abortion case, man. I mean, all right. So here's my issue with this, and obviously the reason we're talking about abortion still is because you guys out there are still talking about abortion. I was like, some of you lost your damn minds. I mean, you would actually.
Oh my god.
Some of you are like really serious about this, in a very angry way.
Yes.
To the point that a 10-year-old girl gets raped and requires an abortion. And your takeaway message, your publicized message was the fact that she couldn't get an abortion. Not a 10-year-old got raped.
Yeah, right.
Not,
What kind of
holy shit, put out an APB. Who got raped? How did she get raped? Where is the rapist? Let's catch him immediately. Is the mom involved? Did someone allow this? Not any of that. No. For what? 24 to 48 hours, it was simply only about, can you believe this 10-year-old could abortion?
Yeah,
that's your takeaway message. Wait a minute.
Let me take advantage of the
you were sick with
again.
COVID. Yeah, you were. Yeah, you were sick with COVID, Trinity. When you first heard the case, just the first thing that came out of your mind says, a 10-year-old got raped. Oh, I hope she can get an abortion.
No, I literally found out about it this morning because I haven't really watched any news.
Is that?
And my first thought was, what kind of an asshole rapes a 10-year-old?
Yeah. Yes.
That's my first thought. Like,
yes.
Really?
That should be everyone's first thought. The president of the United States gets on TV and talks about the abortion part and how horrible the Supreme Court was. Says nothing about, hey, is she safe today? I mean, is she still in danger? Because let's remind people, you don't have sex today and you're pregnant, you knowingly pregnant tomorrow and have a so you're talking about weeks. This person could still be raping people. This person could still be offending people. No talk about that. Just how she couldn't have an abortion. You guys are so agenda focused that you've lost your damn mind, man. This girl's 10 years old. Apparently she was raped at 9.
Oh, God, that's horrible. I literally first learned about it today. I had no clue until you told me about it prior to the show. Once again, I've been living under a rock for the last week. So anything happened around me, I really don't know. That's that.
You Googled
I don't even know
what happened. So you were gonna.
I just looked briefly, and basically, like you said, one side was saying one side was focused more on the perpetrator being the fact that he was potentially an illegal alien, as they would call it, an illegal immigrant, whatever you want to call it these days. And then the other side, all they wanted to talk about was the abortion. It's sad, dude. It really is, man. Does it sting a little bit when you think about an abortion for a 10-year? Like, does it make sense why she should have one? Of course it does. Like, I don't know of any reasonable person that wouldn't at least acknowledge that. Now, I do think that there's some very far right leaning or very religious individuals who, regardless, still think that that's life and it should be brought in. And I respect that opinion. But I think most reasonable people can at least admit oh, that's a hard one. You know, like that's a touchy one. I understand why you'd want to abort that one. Like, I get it. But yeah, I think if we're sticking on the abortion topic, it's crazy to me on how just what, and you know what though, it's always been this way. Like, I remember when I was a kid in like elementary school, I always heard adults talking and stuff, and the thing that I was always told, like being like grown up, was you never talk about certain things at all. Like, you don't talk about religion, you don't talk about abortion. Like, those were two of the top things you just don't talk about, because it created such an emotional, fight between people.
Right.
And it looks like that hasn't died down at all. Like, we're talking about 40 some years now that I know of. And it's nowhere near as easy as it well, I shouldn't say easy, but it's nowhere near as calm as it should be. Like,
Right.
it's still as volatile today as it was for 40 years. And I'm going to venture a guess that it's probably been volatile for even longer than that, which is weird, because when you look at other countries, like, most of them don't have a very positive stance on abortion. Most other countries, it's really hard, if not impossible, to get them. We're kind of late to that dance. And so it's just, yeah, man, I've seen I've seen so many people fighting over this online, and like marches, and just like violence, people like threatening to kill like Supreme Court justices. One girl apparently mailed her blood, I guess, or something, to like a bunch of senators and everything. Like, what the hell, man? Like, people are going nuts. And the weird part is, a lot of people are really up in arms about it will never get one. Like, most of the ones I see they're interviewing, they're like old, or they're not really in a relationship, or they're at no risk to ever be in a situation. Maybe,
but maybe they already had one, and maybe that's why they're emotionally charged. And I get it. Like
Yeah,
if you're
I
out
get
there and
it.
you've had one, I get why you're emotionally charged. But here's my problem with it. My problem with it is that when you use these cases like this for your agenda, that's my problem. My problem is not that you have your vote and you should express your vote and you should believe in what you believe. I'm cool with that. My problem is that you use a case like this where a 10-year-old is obviously sexually violated. This wasn't, this should have never happened. And your thought pattern and your belief system is, that actually validates my point. That actually further strengthens my argument. That you're sick, man. If you went to that direction, you're a sick puppy. There's something wrong with you, that when you hear that story, all you could hear is abortion, instead of there's a person out there that is making little children unsafe, and that person is still out there. That person has not yet been arrested. So for 2 days, or who knows how many days, that the story was circulating, there was no manhunt, or and you can Google it. The only interview you see of this mom is from a Latino reporter through a door where you can't see the mom. Oh, hell no. If a 10-year-old requires an abortion, that mom should have to sit in front of somebody and say, hey, your daughter was just in a clinic. We need to know who did this.
Yeah.
Who do you think did this? Right? I mean, there's a criminal offense here. There's nothing here that's not criminal.
No, but this is literally the worst crime that most people would consider as well. Like, when you start getting into the realm of like messing with kids, dude, like that's hands down universally hated amongst everybody. Even murder, some people can like, hey, he got it coming, right? But messing with kids, dude, that's kind of universal. Like, that's kind of, I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. That's usually that's the one we all hate. Like, that unifies a community more than anything else. Is anti, pedophiles.
Dude, you are so right. I even in the prison system, they know more about what's bad. These criminals that are locked up for murder have better ethics than some of you out there, because I'm sure they're not thinking about the abortion part. They're thinking about what a sick puppy.
Yeah, they're waiting to see him.
You know what they're saying? They're saying, they're back there like this, sitting watching the news in the rec room, going like, "Bro, if that was my daughter, boy, don't let her touch my daughter." Right? That's what they're thinking. I have 2 daughters. If one of my daughters would get pregnant at 10 years old,
oh man,
how old's your daughter?
My youngest one right now is 12. She'll be 13 in October.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's.
Can you imagine if you would find out right now that she was pregnant?
the level of fury that would be inside of me. I'm not a biblical person, but it would be biblical. Like,
and shame on the Crips for using that as a political agenda to attack the Supreme Court justices. Oh my God. Oh, it's horrible. It's sick. That is the sick part. The sick part is that it was used. It was used as a political ploy. Some of you just used it to validate your opinion. You are sick for that, man. That is horrible.
Yeah,
that is just horrible. I just don't like that at all, man. As a dad to daughters, it really, really bothers me that that we have intelligent people. Some of you are so intelligent. I love you, man, as people. But some of your comments and statements, and then our own president of the United States, who I want to respect, and I want to say, you're our president. I want to stand behind you, and you get up there, bro, and you use it as a political tool to further divide our country. United we stand, divided we fall. We all learned this back in the day. United we stand, divided we fall. Shame on you, Crips, and you, president, for trying to divide us further by using a 10-year-old's rape to do it, to further divide us, man. You're sick. That's just sick, man.
Yeah,
this case really bothers me because of that reason. And then Trinity. So then finally they figured out who did it, right? Only because there's uproar, because at least half the country was like, wait a minute. Yeah, I had an abortion, but who did it? Wait a minute. Because we know the other side's all about law and order, right? Like, you're not allowed to commit a crime. Let's go get it, right? So they're like, let's get a posse together. Let's find out who did it. So they find out who did it. And then now the facts of who did it now become political. So now you flip on Fox News and they're like, it's an illegal immigrant. Ooh, another feather in our cap. We told you illegal aliens are bringing through fentanyl. We told you some of them are rapists. We told you. And then the other side's like, an Ohio man was found to be an Ohio man.
Yeah. By way of Mexico.
So now it's because it doesn't fit your stupid. Oh my God. So now you want to protect. You don't need to protect me. I'm a Latino. We don't need your protection. Hey, guess what? There are bad Latinos and there are good Latinos. There are bad illegal aliens and there are good illegal aliens. That's just the way it is. You don't need to protect all of them by calling it an Ohio man. No, man. This guy is who he is and did what he did. You can say it. But when we protect certain populations because, oh my God, this is going to hurt our no, it's not going to hurt your agenda, because you know what? The other side's going to stream it anyway. So the only people you're keeping from the real information are the people that already believe in you. And how are they going to keep believing in you if you lie to them and keep information from them all the time?
Are there still people out there that are stupid enough to think because one Latin dude raped 10-year-old, that means they all are? Like, is there anybody still out there in today's world is that stupid?
No, but the Crips believe that they do. Crips believe that Bloods think that. The Crips are out there, and their agenda is to say all Bloods, that entire gang, believes that everyone illegal is a drug lord or rapist. That's how they keep the Crips in line, right? They tell all the Crips, hey, Crips, this is how they believe. So you don't want to wear red. Don't ever wear red, because what that says is you believe that you also believe that, that they're all rapists. And it's like, whoa, wait a minute. No, man, that's not what the Bloods are saying.
Yeah. If these people exist, I don't think I've met them.
And you're not
I just don't. I don't interact with them on a day-to-day basis. Like, most people I know are pretty reasonable. Like, just because of one dude did somewhere does not mean like all other Spanish people I've met in my entire life that have never done anything are now instantly. But like, come on, man. I don't know anybody that thinks that way. I think that person's a myth. Do I think there might be one dude in the entire U.S. that, maybe, but he doesn't count.
But does it happen? Yes, man. Look. I counseled illegal aliens for years. In my 25 years of private practice, I counseled a lot of illegal aliens who had DUIs, and I found out through counseling, a lot of them had committed some pretty horrific crimes where they were, but that's not what I was dealing with them. I was dealing with them about a specific issue in relation to the disease. So I would help them process and heal in the situation we were dealing with, right? Not in some of the stuff that may or may not have happened in the past, but they had to let it go. They had to talk about it. They had to say either they were accused of it or whatever. But a lot of them that I did counsel, not a huge percentage, just enough enough that it was more than 5, 10, 20 kind of, I mean, were
Right.
here because something happened back where they were at. So the families that you got to go, and they had nowhere else to go but the United States. Like, where are they going to go? Might as well go make a new law, a new life for themselves. So it's safe to assume that if me in my little life, I've experienced, at least maybe about 50 to 100 individuals that had committed crimes or were wanted for crimes, that it's safe to assume that if I'm one individual, there's probably a lot more, right? So
Sure.
you have to at least be honest with, yes, man, because you know what? Let me flip the script. I personally know my friends that committed crime on this side of the border that now live over there. They don't live here. So it happens both ways. We have to
Sure.
admit that it happens both. There's a lot of Americans that live in other countries because they committed crimes in the United States and are wanted here in the United States. Well, what makes you think
that's
that
how I
doesn't
know the
happen
word
the
no
opposite,
extradition?
people?
That's how I know that word.
It happens both ways. Yeah, it's so ridiculous. It's just
That's
so ridiculous.
literally every movie we watch is about extradition. Like, commit a crime, go to another country,
Yeah,
head to the border.
You're right. Every movie you watch, they're on their way to Mexico, right? Driving to Mexico.
Or some other country only because it has no extradition. Like, that's literally how I know those words.
Right. So don't you think Mexicans think the same thing when you're deep in Mexico and you see somebody with a lot of money spending a lot of cash and now they live there? Don't you think he must have committed a crime in the United States and that's why he's living over here? Because he never goes back. You know what I mean? They might have the same assumption over there. But in this sad case, it bothered me that this ruling, that we still talk about it incorrectly, right? People are still acting and attacking, our third branch, right? Like they're supposed to go by public opinion, and they're supposed to go by
like they made the law
rather than by law. Yeah, they didn't make anything, man. Look, you still have your vote. You still have your democracy is still in place because you have your vote where you live. That's how it works. If you and the people around you feel a certain type of way, that you keep the laws the way you need to keep them where you live.
What's funny though?
That's all that happened.
It's funny, like ironic funny, not haha funny, but like they're up in arms, many of them saying that the Supreme Court doesn't have the right to do this or does that. Yeah, that's kind of what they said, right? The Supreme Court kind of agreed. Yeah, we don't have the right to tell you yes or no. We literally don't have. We are not allowed to make this decision. We're going to give it to the states. That's literally what the ruling said. And so these people
actually to make
you don't have
stronger.
Yeah, but it's just funny though that the Supreme Court literally just said the same thing.
Go make it a law.
Yeah. So it's just funny to me that like what they're arguing about. It's like, did you miss like U.S. government class as a kid? Like, did you not wrap your head around how that process works? The legislative branch is the one that actually makes the law. The judicial just interprets it. So it's just funny to me. Like I said, funny, haha, that that people are like, well, you don't have the right, and the Supreme Court's like, yeah, we don't have the right. The states do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I agree with you. If you're that adamant about it, by all means, bro, just go vote. Like that's kind of how this process works. I'm not sure if you're all new to this. Let me explain democracy to you. There's a voting thing that we do.
Bill
right?
Is just a bill sitting on Capitol Hill. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to go straight on junction on everybody here, but conjunction, I think that was.
What's your function?
But no, yeah, but like that's how the process works, right? Like, contrary to popular belief, there's these other things called elections. And they happen now. I know it's going to be a crazy thing for you guys to hear this, but they happen locally too. In other words, they happen in your own city, your own town, your own state. And those really, really, really impact your daily life. There's more than just the presidential election every 4 years. I know that's a news flash for a lot of you people out there, but I promise you there's elections locally and they really matter. And you should really look into who those people are and what they're doing. Stop being that person that says, oh, my vote doesn't count. No, they're all dirty anyways. Okay, well, then shut up. Stop complaining about what happens, because you literally have it right in your hands to participate in this process, to make your voice heard and get involved, and you choose not to because you're just too damn lazy to take a couple hours to go vote someday. Okay, you have the right to do that, but then stop whining about stuff. But yeah, like, vote, man. You know how many people? It's disgusting to me. I'm not really a huge patriotic person. This is the only country I've ever known, so by default, I love it, I guess. But voting's always been kind of an important thing to me. When I was in high school, I remember like going and registering to vote, and I remember voting in my very first election, like how cool it was, and I could finally participate. Now, was I always involved as I am now? No, because as I've gotten older, I've been more in tune with what's happening around me and how it affects me, of course. But I'm not talking about just the 18-year-olds. There's 30, 40, 50-year-olds out there who still don't vote. It's like, dude, really? Like this affects you like every day. And so voting to me is it's really important, but they don't preach it very much in schools. Like they don't, like I talk to my kids, man, and they give no shits whatsoever about voting, what it's about. They care more about what Kim Kardashian's doing or who's dating who now, or like what song came out. Like they don't care about any of this stuff. And granted, I think that's not a new thing. I think many youth out there just don't care about those types of things, but they should. And it's sad as an educational system, we don't preach it very much either. Like because the parents don't care, the school, like nobody cares except for the people who are in politics until it affects you. Once it affects you, then all of a sudden magically you care a lot about that one issue. Go ahead.
Is the Crips want our kids to believe that that they don't want them to vote, that the Bloods don't want you to vote, that they're somehow trying to be a monarchy and have a king or that's not what I see at all. I don't see that. I see the Bloods have their opinion, the Crips have their opinion. I mean, both sides want to manipulate the information for their best interest. Of course,
yeah,
that's the way it is, right?
Sure.
But I don't see either side trying to silence people. But that's the way it's used. That's why, and then that goes into our next topic. This attack on democracy is what you hear on CNN. That's all it was. It was the attack on democracy, attack on democracy. Well, before I end that last abortion, one more sentence on the abortion thing. Is it not an attack on democracy when you start canceling people and when you start silencing people and when you start having censorship? Is that not an attack on democracy? Is it not an attack on democracy when we don't allow individuals to be heard and we only express one side of an opinion? And on this abortion thing, where was the conversation saying, look, this girl is still living with her mom? We now know that the mom is, says what the media is saying about the guy who now admitted it, by the way, the 27-year-old who admitted it, that he did it. The mom is saying that's not true. Whatever's saying on the media is not. So to me, the girl's still in danger. That little girl's still in danger. But we're not talking about that. No, we're talking about whatever you guys want to talk about to wag your little tail on the dog. And this is my problem. So that's the democracy that gets attacked to me, is that we're not allowed to talk about stuff and get real information so that we can make a vote. So our kids will be interested in voting. No, they're just being hyped up, one way or another and being told a certain thing. And, this topic of attack on democracy, I know they're using it for the January 6th thing, right? They're using it for they're acting as if that these people came to the Capitol to take over, that they were going to hang Mike Pence, the hearsay is that Donald Trump wanted to take over the vehicle and go over to Congress and hang Mike Pence.
I don't believe any of that, by the way. I don't believe his old fat ass was able to reach over and do that.
Some of you believe that, though. And here's my comment on that. I don't give a shit. I really don't. I know that he lost. I know that we have a new president. And I know that every single president has dirt. Every single politician has dirt. Every single politician has done something that we can deem as questionable or investigate. But when we only do it to one side constantly, it's like the Crips are a bunch of cop callers. Everything is a trial.
Wait, are you saying that the whole politicians lie?
Thing? Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Hold on, let me write that down, dude. Holy
Crips are trying to act like politicians never lied before Donald Trump. They're really trying to say that all the politicians prior to Donald. They're forgetting that Kennedy cheated on his wife.
We're forgetting that. AWL, all of them.
Dude, Kennedy cheated on his wife publicly. Clinton
The other Kennedy killed
cheated
a
on
woman.
his wife publicly. You know, so I mean, you stop acting like this is like all of a sudden, people are supposed to be, morally good when they're president. That's not the case. Hate to break it to you, it's just not the case. But what I'm saying, this attack on democracy really is when you start canceling reality. When you're no longer speaking reality, you're no longer giving all facts. You're not allowing people to devote one way or another on what's real and what's not real, because you're silencing an entire side that has something to say. Now, we don't have to agree to it. The Bloods could be lying their asses off, but let them lie their ass off. Who cares what the Bloods are saying? If you don't agree with it, you don't agree with it. But they should be able to say it. They should be able to speak it.
Right.
They should be able to have their conspiracy theories. And the reason there are conspiracy theories is because sometimes that shit comes out to be true. So all you do is give more power and more weight to conspiracy theories in the future. You know what I mean? You got my wife over there believing something about aliens and Bigfoot and Skywalker Ranch and the
Yeah, my mom was talking to me about the Skywalker Ranch.
Because once one becomes true, then now they all probably true.
Right.
And I'm not saying aliens don't exist. I think they're here too. But there's a way to say it where you're not cuckoo for Cuckoo Puffs when you say it.
The lizard people are here. My wife is one of the lizard people, by the way.
You're out there. Bro.
No, I'm serious.
I'm
dead serious. No, I'm dead serious. She has a thing called I'm gonna completely butcher this, I know. So anybody out there watching it who also has it, I'm sorry ahead of time. She has RH, I think it's like a rare thing in the blood or something like that. And that was what the people are calling lizard people, like people with the RH blood thing in them, because it's like super, super rare apparently. But yeah, so she's one of the lizard people.
Always sick, bro. That's why she's always sick. You because you turn up the air conditioner in your house because you're always hot. She needs heat. If she's a lizard, she needs to be under a heat lamp.
Cool down. She needs
to be under a heat lamp.
Right. But no, I think it's funny that she's one of the lizard people, because I think it was Alex Jones who started, or he contributed to that. But anyways, yeah, man, no, I agree with you, the democracy thing, man. I think that I don't know when it happened, but at some point in my lifetime, we've negated debate, or we just, it's just gone. You're not allowed to debate anymore. It's either you're this or you're that. And I don't know what caused that. I don't know when exactly it happened. It happened so smoothly. I don't remember the moment, because I remember when I was in high school, I was on a debate team. We were able to debate and talk about stuff. And half the time, you couldn't even pick your topic. It was just, all right, you're for, you're against. Make the argument. You couldn't even do it passionately. And nowadays, man, it's like you're not allowed. If you disagree, even if you make the most sense in the world, if you disagree, you're wrong. And you're a homophobe, or you're racist, or you're this, or you're that. Wow, dude. That bothers me, man, because to me, that's the essence of democracy, is the ability to all of us kind of converse and have different ideas, and the best idea kind of wins. And how do we determine it's the best idea? Because we all talk about it. We all interact, and we all figure out how it matches or conflicts with what I currently think. And if you make a good point, then I'm like, oh, I didn't think of it that way. That's democracy. But now that's not what it is anymore. It's whoever's got the loudest voice, or whoever's got the most, money, essentially, for a lot of people. It's just, yeah, dude. Come on, man. I've almost been kicked off TikTok twice because I just posted a picture of my kids doing nothing. You can't even post stuff anymore. You can't talk about things. It's ridiculous. And I think that is the real hit on democracy.
That is the attack on democracy.
January 6th has done diddly squat in my life. There's nothing in my life right now that I can look at to say, you know what? Stupid January 6th. That's what caused it. That's it right there. Nothing.
Yep.
But this freedom of speech stuff, I can point at least 10 or 15 right now that's affected my life daily.
These groups before these hearings. Before these hearings, who cares who the Proud Boys are? I never even thought about Proud Boys. Who cares? Let them be who they are. Let them be proud. Let them think whatever they want. Let them have their buddies. You're allowed to be in your little buddy group and think whatever your little buddy group feels and thinks, and have your little comments amongst yourselves. They're not mainstream. This is not a mainstream ideology. Whatever you're promoting on these January 6th trials is not a mainstream ideology. Do you realize how many people were actually there? If all of those people were exactly who you are acting like they were, there would be no Capitol today. There would be none. There would be none. If it only takes like a group of 6 little vandals to completely destroy like Beverly Hills, you know what I mean? Trust me, 100,000 people that are there as a militia would completely obliterate the Capitol.
Well, there's no common sense anymore, though, man. Like that, it used to be common sense, right? Like now, it's like you said, it's red or blue. There's no middle ground of just being an adult and just having some freaking eyeballs and common sense, right? Like nobody's saying that attacking the Capitol is a good idea, right? Like I don't think either one of us are saying that. No, it's a horrible thing, and they should all be freaking arrested and charged and everything else.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes.
However, I don't want to blow it out of proportion, right? Like, have you ever had a hangnail before? I know I have.
Yes.
Dude, that sucks, bro. Like I've had a hangnail and it is absolutely horrible. It is no fun. It hurts. It's uncomfortable, but is it really a big deal? Am I going to tell my grandkids about the great hangnail of 2008? No, it's not a big deal. Like, yes, it sucks. It's inconvenient, but is it really is it worth burning the house down? Like, do I need to go to the emergency room? No, I don't. You just put a Band-Aid on it, put some Neosporin, move on with your day. That to me is how I feel the January 6th thing was. It was inconvenient. It was uncomfortable. They should go ahead and charge them and stuff, but it was at the end of democracy and we're the hell. No, like calm down, man.
You know what's funny is I'm going to use your same hangnail scenario because I had a surgical procedure at age 21 so that I would never have toe hangnails again on the same toes that I always got hangnails. So I had a surgical procedure done. There was a surgical procedure that actually exists. They cut it a certain way, so you'll never have it again.
Michael Jordan
was
had
the best thing. Oh, bro, it's so awesome. I have never had it again, and so on my feet, never have hangnails again. However, the point is that using that same scenario, if you have something that's truly bad, you take care of it, you deal with it, and you move forward. Just like Trinity's saying, you move forward with it. You can't just keep talking about it in the way that you're talking about it here. I want to believe you. You're our government. You're our senators. You're our congressmen. You occupy the most important buildings that exist. I have to believe in you. We want to believe in you. We want our children to believe in you. But as you keep saying that they are this, what you're really doing is you're exposing your shit. You're exposing how horribly biased you are. You cannot do all your investigations in one direction and none towards Biden whatsoever. You've never investigated anything about the other side has been screaming Hunter for so long, and you guys have never even looked at Hunter. You guys refuse to even believe. And there's so much to look at. There's so much good, juicy shit there, bro. I mean, that really would make for like great TV. Hunter's stories have everything that we actually like. Like that is follow him around with a camera. That is reality TV. If that dude records his life the way he's recorded, dude, his conversations are recorded. His he takes pictures of shit.
Isn't there like a video going around him like Wayne in the past, like drugs on a thing?
Dude, that is like the Washington Shore. That's dude,
hold on. Let's walk down that path just for a second, right? Let's Jerry Springer this up just a second.
Yeah.
So Trump
had
rumors of an infamous pee tape where he paid a hooker in Russia to pee on him. Like the rumors of it. Nobody's ever seen it. They just heard about it. They talked about it. And I only know about that because the news media covered it. What that has to do with, first of all, if you're in Russia, and I don't know the local laws on prostitution, but I'm going to assume
that might be a thing.
I'm going to assume based upon what I know about Russia, it's not unlikely that it's legal to have prostitution. It's just maybe it is, maybe it's not. I don't know. But he, being a rich businessman, paid for a hooker to pee on him. Let's assume it's true. Who gives a shit, right? Like that doesn't really
don't care.
It's not against the law. It's a thing you did in your bedroom. That's what you're into, I guess. Whatever. It wasn't against the law, and it has nothing to do with your ability to run the country politically. But it was everywhere. That's how I know about it. Is because they covered it and they talked about it and everywhere. Okay, that was a rumor.
Right.
apparently there's actual video of Hunter like doing all sorts of crazy stuff. Like, I don't even know what's true anymore. It's so salacious that it feels like it has to be made up. It's so salacious. I mean, there's no way that's real, and I'm being told it is. And so, in that, he's got like legitimate connections to other countries, like for blackmail, things of that nature. And there's videos on it. There's witnesses coming forward. It's like raining evidence. There's nothing to see here. Don't worry about that. But this old rich dude wanted somebody to pee on him. Now pay attention to that. I don't care about how dude didn't break the law. Years ago, I had some hooker pee on him. I don't care if that's even true. Who cares? Dude. Go for it, bro. What's the point of being a billionaire if you can't throw your money around a little bit? But this dude is going around like getting millions of dollars. That's my dad. Give me $1 million. No, nobody cares. Like, that's crazy to me. It's crazy.
That Trump's kids were all united with dad. All are very successful business people in their own right, very intelligent, very family oriented. And the media even attacked the youngest one for having some disability, and that was okay.
What was that, Barry or something like that?
Yeah. But this guy, I swear every person in Hollywood would love to make a movie about this guy. They wish he was a blood. They wish he was a blood, because if he was a blood, they would be making movies about this right now. There'd be investigations like for sure about this guy. So on this guy, he does all this stuff, and nothing, not even a whisper.
Nope.
Not a whisper. Trust me, I watch CNN all the time. Not a whisper. They never bring up Hunter.
People on Twitter when they share the laptop thing.
They never bring up Hunter. It's like, why aren't you talking about Hunter? There's such good information here. This should be on every channel. There's good stuff here. I want to watch this. I want to see these videos. I want to hear these tapes. This is some good shit here. But nope.
Go to Reddit. It's on there.
Is it really?
Yeah. I've seen one of the videos.
It's hilarious, man.
And the video is amazing to the point where I'm like, no way, that's actually him. Like, I cannot believe it's so out there that no way in hell it's actually real. And if it is real, shame on you, media, for not letting the world see that.
I know, man. I feel so robbed, because and this is another reason I'm so glad that there was no iPhones and cameras the way they are when I was out there partying and getting high. This is another reason that old people like me that no longer get high anymore go like, "Ooh, thank God there was no cameras," because damn it, man, what possessed you to record everything and keep it?
I don't even, dude. I did my criminal activity back in the day.
Media attacks on democracy. The facts that
the idea of recording the stuff that I like that feels like a no-brainer to me. Like I don't know. Maybe I was just raised in a different era. But anytime I did illegal activity, the rule was nobody say anything. Right? Like the less people involved, the better, because less people are going to say anything. These fools are recording themselves. Hey, look at me hit this person. Look at me rob the store. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And I'm Hunter Biden. My dad is one of the most famous people in the world, and there's so much going on. Let me record every stupid thing that I do.
Yeah. How we're not demanding this. We should demand this stuff, man. We got to see this stuff. God. This is good. This is good. And you know what? I mean, this is the thing that you can't say that you're worried about democracy when you don't even research. Wait a minute. What if there's a compromise here? What if there's some unethical stuff that has happened that actually compromised decisions? I mean, don't we all remember when Trump was attacking China and Biden got up and says, China? Who's worried about China? Nobody's worried about China. And now all of a sudden, we're all really worried about China. It's like, dude, why are we not calling you on your stuff, man? You clearly are either out of touch, or you don't want to say something. And government, again, we want to believe in you. January 6th was not an attack on democracy. What is an attack on our democracy is you refusing to give us all the information, and let us decide for ourselves. Let us vote properly. Yeah. We cannot vote properly if we don't have all the information. You can't investigate one side and never the other. Never the other. This should not be about sides. This just shouldn't.
What should be one side? America.
Uh-oh. Well, again, and all right, good point. All right, so let's talk about that, because remember, they made the words "Make America Great Again" mean like some sort of racist redneck kind of thing is what they made that become,
Yeah.
right? That's what the Crips want to say. So you can't even say America without all the buy American. They make it all sound like kind of iffy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like, but it's not. It shouldn't be iffy because this is the only country that's not really won anything. We're made up of everybody. So
what's weird though?
America's
Like,
everybody's country is every other country's country. You
yeah,
know what I mean? We are the
I
people's
want to
people.
address that because you and I have a very fun. I'm okay. We're gonna get a little philosophical here, I guess.
All right.
There's been times where I've been a little jealous, just a smidgen, when I hear you talk about your patriotism, right? And I have friends from other countries, and I hear how in love they are with their country and their flags, and just they know the history and they're so proud of it. I don't have that, right? And I don't think the majority of Americans really have that, if I'm honest with you. I don't mean the crazy right wing hillbillies. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about just the average, everyday walking around person. I don't think that they have this really true appreciation and love for their country. Like, it's not promoted. Like, I didn't even know about this whole like love your flag and everything else until I started meeting friends from Hispanic countries. When I started meeting friends from here, they were walking around with a Puerto Rican flag everywhere in my high school, like the Cuban flag. That's how I knew the flags, because they were always walking around with them. I didn't see a bunch of white people walking around with American flags. Like, I just didn't see that much. And even now, you don't really see it unless you start going into like the country. When you start going to the real country areas, you'll see American flags, or like veterans will have their flags out there. But that's still a relatively new thing, right? Like, I didn't see, it wasn't just everywhere. Not like you see Puerto Rican flags everywhere. Not like you see like Mexican flags.
That's right.
I don't know why that is, though, right? Like, I don't know why we as Americans don't seem to have this pride in our country. Like, I want it. I like my country. I've never known anything other than my country. But I understand it has its faults. I understand that we're not perfect. But overall, when I look, I've heard, all right, so some of the worst stories I've ever heard. I have friends from all sorts of different countries, and the two worst stories I've ever heard was from a buddy of mine from South Africa. I'm not going to say that it was atrocious, the kind of stuff you see on news and stuff. And the other stories were a friend of mine who lived in Iraq. He lived in Iraq. He grew up until he was probably in his mid-20s, and he moved to America. But those two people, out of all the people I've heard some pretty raunchy stories and bad ones from people who grew up in like some of the poorer like Latin countries. But the two worst by far were South Africa and Iraq. But over the years, listening to all these stories, I can't help but to think that would never happen in this country. Just no matter our faults, we are so much above that. Like, we don't have that collective mentality where those kinds of things are just acceptable. And so, like, I think we're a great country. I do. I think we have some amazing things going for us, but I don't know why, and I'm guilty of it, why we don't have this exceptional pride more universally. Like, I don't teach my children to love the American flag. I just don't. I don't teach them to hate it. I just take it for granted, I think, is what it is. It's just, this is where we're at. Like, this is what we do. Yeah. But we don't have a ton of that patriotism going around. We just don't. Not like they do in other countries, man.
I think that's the problem. What you just said, I think, is the problem. The fact that you were able to get through school and all that without that being entrenched in you, a true understanding of what that flag means to everyone in the world, not just Americans, to everyone in the world. Yeah. The opportunity that means to everyone in the world is sad to me. That really is sad. We're a military family. I come from a military family. I'm a first generation American. This country means so much to my family. The opportunities, the everything that it has offered us in my family. It means so much to us. And my father, Puerto Rican male, was still, he doesn't put up the Puerto Rican flag. He puts up the United States flag. And his reason, he says, this is my flag. The American flag. It encompasses the Puerto Rican flag. He's not anti-Puerto Rican flag, even though he's Puerto Rican. He just, this is the Puerto Rican flag is within the American flag. The Mexican flag doesn't need to be up because it's within that American flag. Because within the American flag is the opportunities for Mexicans, for every other person in every country. Now, here's the other thing, Trinity. The sad thing is when you see people say, well, the flag is racist, and they go to some of our worst stories in our history, right? And I'm thinking, wait a minute, the Cuban people had to leave their country to be here under horrible situations in order to be here because they had a Cuban dictator for 50 freaking years. They had the worst dictator, right? Castro. And yet they still held up their Cuban flag because they're proud to be Cuban.
Yeah.
They're proud to be Cuban. So the flag represents who you are, not the government in charge. And the American flag does not represent the government in charge. Remember, it represents who we are. That is the issue. You know what I mean? That's why I can be proud of the Mexican flag. I can be proud of the Puerto Rican flag, not the politics of Mexico, not the politics of Puerto Rico, not the politics of Spain, not the politics of Italy. I'm proud of all of the flags that make up who I am. And the American flag encompasses all the countries from which we come, from all the countries in which I have become a person, and who we all are. If you're Irish, you should be able to put up the Irish flag. But know that in America, you found something. You know, you were treated like crap when you first got here, you poor Irishman. You were treated like crap, treated like dirt because of your religious beliefs. But you found a country that in the writing said you were allowed to have these religious beliefs, regardless of what they are. And eventually, you got some of the freedoms that you fought for and that you wanted, and why you took that long journey from Ireland to the United States. You got them. Germans for escaping whatever they were escaping prior to the Nazi Germany, whatever you came here for, you found what you were looking for. It saddens me that we don't learn more about true patriotism and true. I mean, because even the word patriot now is being used as a racist word instead of what it really is.
Well, the other thing too is
should be honored.
I'm tempted to say it's anecdotal, right? Like obviously the people I see from other countries, they're here. So obviously they came here for a reason or whatever. And so they can kind of distinguish between the two sides. But I would be curious, if you're in the other country, is it like this country in the sense of the people who are living there who are doing fine? Mm-hmm. Do they also take it for granted or whatever? I'm tempted to say no, because even on our show and other shows, whenever I've spoken to somebody, they have so much knowledge of other countries and their country and things of that nature. I tend to think that even the people who don't leave their country, like, have the same love for their own country. Like, it feels like a uniquely American thing where we just don't give a shit. Like, it feels like that. Like, it's anecdotal, like I said. I haven't been around to different countries, but it feels like we're the only ones that just don't give a shit about our country, about where we're not proud of it. We're not like, yeah. It's weird.
Well, it's also a state thing, man. It's also a state thing, because I come from Texas, right? So the Texas flag is everywhere.
Right.
We're proud to be Texans. So the reason a lot of people do hate Texans is because when they go everywhere, you know that they're Texans, right? You know, the reason New Yorkers, get so much bad rap, not for their flag. They don't put their flag. Notice there's never a New York flag. I bet you nobody can even identify a New York flag. They don't put up their flag. They put up NY. And that's my point. But they'll tell you they're New Yorkers. They'll tell you they're New Yorkers. You know, and so with Texans, we put up our flag, we put up our hook 'em horns. Texas. So that pride has to be ingrained. In Florida, you guys don't do that. I used to joke with Dana all the time that when I came here to Florida, I was like, "What is your flag? I don't even know what your flag is." Because it's not. But it's just not. It's not cool enough. It's not relevant enough. It's not something that's used. You know what I mean? Like there's no Florida pride. You'll see that flow grown, but the flag is not
trucks.
Like like in Texas, you see the Texas flag. Every place you go, you see the Texas flag. Florida, it's like flow grown, and that means I'm a redneck kind of thing, right? It's usually
people, on big trucks.
It's not even. So I think that's the problem. Like, is it when you are not raised with a sense of what this country really means to everyone, and I mean everyone, then in all you're given is the bad history. Because every country has bad history. Every part of the world has bad history, but it doesn't make you hate where you come from. Like you said, South Africa. A South African still proudly shows the South African flag, regardless of apartheid, regardless of what happened before.
My buddy who told me, like, he was in the South African army, and the things that they were doing were, the crimes against humanity. Like this, it was.
Right.
My brain couldn't even fathom that until he told me what was going on. He moved back to South Africa. He was here. He worked for the Postal Service. He was doing well. And he left all of this to go back to South Africa. So he still loved this country.
Still love your country. You're still allowed to love your country. You know, and that's the thing. So, you know, the fact that we aren't teaching our children to love this country and to understand it. Look, of course it's got flaws because humans are flawed, not countries. The country can be flawed, but it's only flawed by humans. The country is land. It's a place. It's not that kind of thing. It's a living thing because of us.
It's a beautiful country, though.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful country.
The United States.
Yeah, man. We travel every. It's beautiful. Like you can get stuck here in like downtown and look around and think, oh, this is not. No, man. Our country has like mountains. It has oceans. It has lakes. It has rivers. Like it's a beautiful country. And the funny part is these people out there who don't have the pride in the country, there is one thing that most of them have in common. They damn sure aren't moving around anytime soon. I don't see them back in their bags and move to another country, but they won't have pride in the one they're in. It's just I don't know. Food for thought. It just, as we were talking about this, it popped in my head about why the differences are. Because I do, man. I see that a lot with a lot of my friends from other countries. They have this pride, dude. It's just like, wow, I wish I had that. Like, I don't hate America by any means. Mm-hmm. I love it. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. Right. But I don't have the overflowing pride that I feel I would like, if that makes sense.
Like my Mexican flag here.
Yeah. I don't even think I have an American flag in my house. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like
I got two of them. I got one on the front deck, one on the back deck.
Yeah, I don't think I even have one. Like that's what I mean. And it doesn't. I mean, I knew all about them. Like I know how to. Like I said, I went to a client's house and she had one, and I knew how to fold it and respect it and everything. Yeah. But it's never meant enough to me to say I'm gonna go get one. Like that's what I mean. And I don't think I'm alone in that.
No, those are the attacks on democracy. Those are the real attacks on democracy. The fact that we don't teach true patriotism and understanding of the not necessarily the behaviors of the people that created this country through the eye of 2022, but through the words that were written and how we can apply those words and why we're still standing the way we're standing and have really been a true melting pot, and have allowed what is going on. The fact that we're able to feel so free and confident is all the bad stuff that happens in this country. We still walk around relatively safe. We still, I mean, really, you know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. The things I hear about other countries would never happen here.
The infrastructure. I mean, I was driving in Philadelphia the other day, and I was like, damn, all these potholes, man. And, you know what I mean? I get so used to the infrastructure. Typically, I know there's a road from point A to point B no matter where I go. And if I don't have Wi-Fi, I complain like a little brat, and I know that the Wi-Fi is going to pick up eventually. Whereas in other places in the world, you don't have the roads from point A to point B.
So the only taste,
you don't have the infrastructure of the Wi-Fi technology.
The only taste of that I've gotten, and vastly different. I've been on multiple cruises to the Bahamas, and I've gone through the Bahamas, and the place where we used to land was not a very rich area in the Bahamas. It wasn't Nassau at all. No, it was Grand Bahama Island, I think it was. It was a very small, it was a bigger island, but it was like poor. Holy cow. Just driving through there, like you said, there's like certain roads that just, there is no road. There's just cross your fingers and hope. Talking to the drivers every time we got picked up, man, it was nothing. I mean, they were positive people, but to hear the living, environment was just sad. It's just like, wow, dude, is so bad. And we would never let them, like America, get that way. Like we're upset because we couldn't find enough toilet paper, right? Like we still had it, but we couldn't find enough of it, so we're upset. Like that. Those are our problems, first world problems, as we call them.
Right. Yeah, dude, there's just so many countries where you see such a low percentage of diversity. I look around this country, we have tremendous amount of diversity, bro. I'm a sucker for even black and white TV. Like I'll watch old Perry Masons, I'll watch old Rawhides, and I'll see. Now they may not have always all been out, but I see Jewish people on there, I see gay people on there, I see black people on there, I see women on there. I see, even in old 50s television, you could see them trying and making changes. Now, it's a slow development, a lot of the stuff that have happened, right? But it was hard. It's always been happening. It's always been evolving. And that's the beautiful thing. I mean, you're talking about in just like, our parents' lifetime. Look at the changes in just like our parents' lifetime. I know, at least in my parents' lifetime, in the last 80 years, the changes that our parents have witnessed in those 80 years are tremendous. Whereas you can go to other places Have we seen that same advancement and changes? No.
Right.
Oh, the reason we were able to do this is because after those two large world wars, World War I and World War II, it brought so much economy and money and ability to our country that our expansion went global. Our businesses went global after the world wars. And that is what allowed us to become who we are, truly. And so we've been advancing tremendously. So don't just judge us by some of our most negative moments, but judge us of our advancements that we made since the 40s, because it was the greatest generation of all time that truly advanced us to where we're at. That's been the big push. Then the last 100 years has been the most major push in our advancement as a country. But they were able to take the words written by those other people and apply them in such a healthy way that it's done some tremendous good. And so we need to understand that and know that, man.
Yeah. Well, we have some comments here from Richard. He's been putting quite a few of them up. We haven't had a chance to address, so let's do it. First one here was exactly, Lou. It's pathetic that we don't teach to, I'm assuming that's be proud of America, but now children are taught to hate America. He said, America isn't heaven, and there isn't a country in the world that is, but is absolutely the best country in the world to live in. He said, he made a joke, this is at least South Africa knows what a man and a woman is. And then he started talking about me. He said, that's because I don't respect the sacrifice made to establish the flag. And then he said, all due respect, Trinity, but if you are overwhelmed by the flag, you have a sense of pride for the country. You are either naive to the sacrifice it took and takes to preserve it, or you are disrespectful towards it. I would push back a little bit on the assumptions on where people are coming from. There is a thing called ignorance as well, right? Like, or there is different levels of care. And so I think, if I'm going to be honest with you, man, like, I think that's kind of part of the problem. That right there continues, to me anyways, to draw the line between us and them, kind of a thing. You said earlier about, patriot means something different nowadays than it used to mean. Well, it's things like that. Like, Richard, man, I love you, kid. I do. But you got to soften your tone a little bit, man. You can't come off so abrasive and judgmental if you're trying to get people to join your club here, because you and I agree on more than we disagree, I think. But I'm gonna be honest with you. My initial inclination is to get defensive when I read that. I know you, and I have thick skin, so I don't really care. But I'm not the average person. The average person walking around who isn't patriotic, when you come down on them and make them feel like they're somehow less than because they don't think the way you think, they're not going to join the team, dude. They're going to get further and further. They're going to go to the people who have their arms open and tell them it's okay. Now, I'm not saying it's okay to not be a patriotic person. It is what it is. That's the cool thing about our country, is you can be, or you don't have to be. Like, you literally have the freedom to be either one, and it's okay. And you have to acknowledge that it's okay to not be as patriotic or to not care. Like, I don't agree with some of the things that people are out there doing, like burning of the flag or trashing our country, but I agree that they have the right to do that. And I don't look down on them for exercising the rights that were fought for. Like, I get it. I don't agree with them, but to me, the best part about this country is the freedom to do that. And so if I want to change their minds, or if I want them to come more to my side of thinking, then I'm going to have to meet them where they're at. I'm going to have to understand that it's not an indication of who they are as a person. It's just an indication of where they're at right now. And where they're at could be, who knows the reasons why they're where they're at. Like, I'm there because I'm a product of my environment. My mom wasn't like this major, my mom didn't have any American flags growing up. I didn't even have a dad growing up. So where was I supposed to get all this patriotism? It never happened. And so the fact that I don't have it now, I don't think it's indicative of who I am. It's just indicative of my upbringing, what I was exposed to. I can still have the same respect for the country as everybody else without waving a flag everywhere. Now, because once again, every time I've seen the flag waved, it's either been military or rednecks. Well, I'm not military and I don't consider myself a redneck. So why would I do that? Does that mean that's what it is? No, but that's what I've seen in abundance. And so if we're trying to change that perspective, then the people who are waving the flags are going to have different discussions to show that they're not those people. Because if you keep doing things that reminds people that you are those people, then you're going to keep those fault lines in between us. And I think that's part of the problem. That's how they've gotten away with making the flag a status of slavery. They've gotten away with making the word patriot some sort of racist, word. because too many people are falling in line and wearing that uniform. If more people didn't have that uniform on and addressed it differently, then I think that would be the thing. So the insinuation that I'm disrespectful or naive, I'm not naive, bro. Like, I know people died for it. We've all had the same education as far as that's concerned. And I'm not disrespectful for it. Like, you can't know what's inside my heart. And so I think that we got to be very careful with the language that we use when we address how somebody else thinks or feels about it. And I think because there's multiple ways of showing patriotism, right? It doesn't have to be like, I remember a couple years ago when Obama was running, or he was in office, he got so much shit for not being a patriot because he didn't have an American flag lapel on his pin, or a pin on his lapel. Like, that's the stupidest argument I've ever heard in my life. There was like this weird elitism where he somehow wasn't patriotic because he didn't have an American flag on his lapel. Mind you, this dude was like running for the president, one of the most patriotic things you could do. Like, he's all about America. He's doing what he thinks is best. And you're going to give him shit because he didn't have a little pin. Like, that's what I mean. Like, stop. Like, we collectively, if you want more people to be super patriotic, you got to stop that kind of stuff, man. But go ahead. I'll get off my soapbox.
No problem. First of all, I'm glad you don't need a safe space. You know,
no,
I'm glad you don't need to go to a safe place. And
no, I'm good.
And feel.
Man, I love Richard too. I love that he comes at us.
I know. I'll speak. I'll speak to a little bit of that. First of all, I do think that all politicians should always have a flag on their lapel, because it's a uniform. At that point, it's a uniform. And uniforms, military uniforms, all have an American flag on. Only their uniform is a suit. And so, yes, you should have an American flag on your suit. That's why you see politicians have an American flag on their suit, because they look at it as a uniform of service to the public. And they know that, by the way. Everything from the color that they wear to the suit that they wear, everything is discussed. So it'd be different. It'd be different if a politician didn't know that everything they're wearing means something, but they know it does. And so to not do it is indicative of something. I don't know what that something is, but it's indicative of something. But if you know that one side is going to look at that as an erosion to the fabric of who we are, then remember, those people are your people too. They may not have voted for you. They may not have wanted you, but they're your people too. And that's the beautiful thing about our system, right? You're allowed to disagree, and we're constantly run. At least 50% of the time, we're run by people that we didn't vote for and didn't choose to be there, but they still represent us. Now, mind you, just because I have American flags in my house, I don't think that everyone needs to have it. But what I will remind you is, if you remember 9/11 and the time after 9/11, did we not see more American flags then? Did we not see almost every car have an American flag magnet then? See, the patriotism and other patriotism is, mine is not temporary. Mine is not based on a win or a loss. Mine is not based on a tragedy. So many people are enjoy this freedom so much that they just are American. And then there's families like mine who, my father was always gone in conflict. My father was at war multiple times. My father fought for the freedoms of this country. My father came to this country and chose to stay in this country. He could have went back to Puerto Rico. We could have moved to Mexico. We didn't. He chose to be here, raise his family here. Both my parents were born in other countries. Now, so that flag means something different to me. And I get that, Trinity. I get that what it means to me is different, but that's because of, I was ingrained in that. The military service, when you're in military service, your entire family's in military service. When you live on military bases, it's a very different world than living on outside of a military base. And I remember the move. When we moved off the military base was the first time that I heard some of the things that I heard, experienced some of the things I experienced. And I was in awe and shock of how people truly felt a lot of times about this country and others. But we always wanted it. We always wanted to live off the base and kind of experience what civilians experience. True problem started. That is when a lot of the stuff that I got into, I was able to get into, and the negative stuff that I got into, and the freedom that came with that. Now, I'm back to my roots, meaning to me, family is important. To me, country is important. To me, country of origin is important. I think it says something. I think your faith is important. My lack of faith is important as much as my faith is important. You know, both things are important. I think when you have a certain rules and guidelines within your home, it helps govern your home. So I do see the value in when you have strong rules to govern your country or your state or your county or your city, how that's important. I didn't used to respect all that. I defied the rules of my home. I defied the rules of my city and country. I defied, I was oppositional. So I had to take a step back. Now as a father and as a husband, I govern differently. I govern myself differently. I govern my family differently, and I'm not as strict as my parents were, but I'm also not as liberal as they were either. And what I mean by liberal, I was a 9-year-old kid with the BB gun and a motorcycle running around town. I would not have let my kids, on a motorcycle running around town freely until dark with a BB gun and a motorcycle. So as conservative as they were also very liberal in other ways. Now I'm conservative in some ways and I'm liberal in other ways. We just have different liberal views and we have different conservative views. We cannot judge the past through today's goggles. And I agree with you, Trinity, that when we speak about the other side, we need to come out with words that are a lot more respectful and inviting. We have to approach it in a way of attraction rather than promotion. There's something very attractive about patriotism. There's something very attractive about law and order, meaning my kids are safe when they're out there. The reason I even believe in law and order is not because I want to go to jail or I believe that cops should be called for every 5 seconds. I'm not a cop caller. But where I do like law and order is when I'm not home and when I'm traveling, that my kids are safe, that my daughters are safe where they go. My daughter will be going to a WWE event tonight.
Wow.
I want her to be safe there. Yeah, it's weird to me. I don't even understand where it must be the boyfriend because she never. Yeah, I didn't see it coming either when I realized she was going. But I want her to be safe. I hope the parking is safe. I hope she's safe. I hope that they have correct security there. I have to admit, if she was going to that in Mexico or Puerto Rico, I'd be a lot more worried than if she's going through it here. How does that make me a racist against myself? Absolutely not. It simply makes me feel a certain type of way about how I feel that we here govern compared to other places govern. Now, mind you, if she was going to Mardi Gras, I wouldn't feel safe. If she was doing this in Miami, I wouldn't feel as safe. If she was doing it in New York City, I wouldn't. If she was doing it in any major metropolitan area, I wouldn't feel as safe as I do here, even though I know that it's very unsafe here in Orlando at times. But when you are where you are, you get a different feeling. You just get a different vibe. A New Yorker feels safer in New Yorker than a non-New Yorker. A Miamian feels safer in Miami than a non-Miamian. And we're no different, people. This is just the way it is. Wherever you're from, you feel a sense of safety there because it's your home. And when you travel abroad, you feel a little bit less safe. Well, just know that as an American citizen, you could travel all throughout 50 states and you'll probably still feel safer in most places here than you will in other countries. You know what the roads are like. You know that if you get in trouble, you know how to dial 911. 911 works in every state. You know that you can get an attorney in every state. And you know that there's some levels of protections in every state. We see what's happening in Griner. Let's talk a little bit about that, Trinity. She's in Russia. She's incarcerated in Russia, but she's not the only American incarcerated in Russia. I know, according to LeBron, she must be the only person incarcerated in Russia. But she's not, LeBron. You made some statements regarding her being a female, and that's why she's still there. But you're forgetting that there's 2 white men that are also there incarcerated, yet they haven't gone through their trial. They haven't been convicted of anything, and they didn't admit that their crime.
They don't have a hashtag crime either.
Yeah, and people don't know who their names are as much. And these 2 guys are being, called. And it's worse because if they do get convicted of spying, of that kind of, I don't know what comes with that, but I'm going to guess that the penalty for their offense is going to be a hell of a lot more than the penalty for her offense, which is they're trying to say she's a drug trafficker, which, even in this country, by the way, if you have marijuana on a plane in this country, or even hash oil or anything like that on a federal plane, you are going to face trial here and you're going to go to jail here too. It's a federal offense here too. This is another example of, you don't feel very American until, and then you actually trash America for being American. I don't get the thing. Like, you want us to go defend her, but she violated a rule on their soil. This is their deal. I don't understand the the on is coming from, where he thinks that we could just go get her, or somehow we can protect her from her own poor decision making of breaking the law. Now, do I feel that what she did was a big offense? Absolutely not. Do I think it should have been a slap on the wrist? Absolutely so. But I don't make the rules in Russia, and I don't make the rules here in the United States. It's not a slap of the wrist here by our federal government. It's not a slap of the wrist there by their federal government. She broke the law, and then she admitted to it. So she did do it. Now, all of a sudden, you want to use American privilege and say, well, but she's an American, so we should be allowed to get her. She should be allowed out and free.
She should know better, though, man. Like, come on, dude.
But yeah, you can't use that American privilege. There's a lot of Americans that think that. You think you can go abroad and break the rules of other countries. You can't do
There's
that.
actual shows called Locked Up Abroad.
Yes. Yes. Because you can't go to other countries and break their rules. To them, there's no difference what she was doing than and I'm gonna be ridiculous here, but just bear with me for a second. We know what El Chapo was doing, right? We know what Chapo was doing. You're not allowed to do that. Well, to them, she was a minor in that type of incident. It's a drug offense, trying to traffic a drug. So we have to at least respect that in their viewpoint. Maybe she is being used as a political prisoner, maybe so, but they're still following their letter of the law in how they're doing it, and we need to respect that. You don't need to be trashing our government because we're not doing more to get her. First of all, you don't know what we're doing, and you know what? Thankfully, I really don't want to know. I know that they've been talking about the text messages from our Secret Service for January 6th. I really don't want to know what our Secret Service is talking about all the time, and I really don't want to know what our government is talking about all the time. I really don't want to know all the relations that they're doing. Hopefully, they're a lot smarter than the stuff we do see and read about. Hopefully, they're having a lot more important conversations than what we do read. But it's like that. I don't want to see behind the veil. I don't want to see the wizard. I don't want to know they're as stupid as what some of it appears to be sometimes. I guess you know what I mean. But that's just another case of stuff, right? Griner's over there.
Well, with the Griner thing, would it be interesting though? Is let's assume for the sake of the conversation, this is just a political ploy. She'll somehow come back and it's all forgotten. What is her perspective going to be? That's what I'm curious the most about, because prior to going over there, she made some statements about, not playing the national anthem and America's racist, like very what could be considered anti-American stuff. It's the vibe that she get across was screw this country, it doesn't like me, it doesn't like people like me, and blah blah blah. Now granted, I could argue that you get paid way more money than I get paid and you're playing a kid's game. I could argue that, but I digress. Either way, you say all these things, and then the first thing you do when you do something stupid in another country is you call this country that you apparently don't like very much, it doesn't think like you, and you ask it for help. If that doesn't feel like the most hypocritical, like, really, bruh? Like, did you think that went through? Like, that's like me insulting somebody and then asking them for a handout right afterwards. Like, why? Like, no. Like, and you know what the sad part about it is? The country is so great that we are actually going to try to help her. Even after she trashed us and everything else, as a country, we're still going to try to help her. Like, that's how good of a country we are. So I guess I'd be curious to see if, like, what her outward statements are going to be when she comes back. Like, because she's eventually going to come back. We all know that. And so when she does, I wonder if she's going to backtrack on some of that or if she's going to stay steadfast. I'm going to be curious.
Am I a jerk because I believe that she's just going to trash us? Something is telling me that it's not going to go well. But I hope not. I want to say I don't have any expectations, but I got to admit, I have an expectation that it's a lose-lose situation for the United States in that case.
You know what, though? This would be a great option. Like, if she's got a publicist or something, like, well, I'm assuming she does. What a great opportunity to uplift your name right now, right? Like, she's never been more popular than she is right now. Like, people who don't pay attention, I don't pay attention to WNBA. I think I might have heard the name once or twice, but I know who she is now. So her popularity has never been bigger than it is now. If she does get free, comes back, and then she turns in, like, what a great ambassador she could be for America, right? Like, to tell her ilk, hey guys, I was wrong. America actually really is for it. Like, what an amazing opportunity if it gets used. And I hope she does, man. I really do. I would hope to think that she doesn't come back and still trash America. Like that would, yeah, but that's kind of where we're at, right? I mean, would it shock me if she did? No, sadly, but I do hope that they see the opportunity here. Like, what about she could be a pivotal role in bringing people back together, right? Like she could be the opposite of Kaepernick. Kaepernick drove this massive web in between people. She could bring them together, man. She really could speak and say, "Hey, you guys were wrong. I was wrong. This is what happened. This is how they've helped me. Like, you know what? That outpouring of support I've never had." Like she really could be an ambassador. I don't think she's going to take it to that level, but I hope she doesn't go the opposite end and still trash. That would be horrible.
And where I'm going with it is she's not the only one. There's so many Americans in foreign prisons and foreign jails for all different types of reasons. So I don't think any single individual deserves more attention than others.
Yeah.
Other than those that absolutely did not do it. So if I'd rather us focus our energies on people that actually did not commit the crime that they're in prisons for in other countries. But when I see people act like they give a damn about her and her situation, I'm going to call bullshit. You only care because of this specific story. You really don't care about people in this situation because you don't know anything about a lot of people in this situation. You only care about this person because of the negative push that's attached to it, to be honest with you.
I'd agree with that.
We all have differences, when I was young and immature, I would focus on my differences to your differences, Trinity. I thought that things that would happen to me because I was Mexican, because I was a Latino, because I'm first generation, because I couldn't speak English as well, or my parents didn't speak English as well, because we ate different food, whatever it was. But as I got older, I realized, well, then that kid cares about it because of he feels different, because when he watches TV, he doesn't see people with his same religious affiliation. Or that kid, when he watches TV, he doesn't see anybody with his same type of nose. Or when that person's on TV, he doesn't see anybody on TV that matches his body type. Or when that person might, so everybody has their differences. It's not just about shade of skin. It's not just about gender. It's all, we are insecure people. We're humans. We're insecure people. And so we always look at us being different than those that we watch on TV. I know some of you believe that it's just you, that when you watch TV, you don't see yourself represented. No, I don't think anyone, when they watch TV, sees themselves represented. That's where you're wrong. You actually believe, because of your own biasness, that everyone watches TV and sees themselves. No, they don't. They don't see their family. They don't see themselves. They don't see their family makeup. They don't see their mom and dad. Not all white people, when they watched Leave It to Beaver, saw their family. It was the exact opposite. When they watch Leave It to Beaver, they go, God, that's not how my mom talks. That's not how my dad talks. I must be different. I must be bad. That's where you're wrong. You're the biased person, because you actually believe that that's how the white household was, and it's not. And I used to believe that, Trini. It wasn't. Who really helped? I used to love George Jefferson, Fred Sanford, and Archie Bunker, because I used to tell my dad, that is the way they are. And my dad would be like, you're such an idiot. That is not. I go, yeah, Dad. I said, the Archie Bunker household is the way it's at. And when I met my one Archie Bunker friend, which is why I love the Pittsburgh Steelers to this day, Les Scott, he was a real Archie Bunker. He sat like him in his chair. He ran his wife around just like Edith got run around. He ran Sandy around. And I said, man, he drank his Jim Beam, smoked his red Marlboro cigarettes, and smoked a black cherry tobacco from his pipe. And I said, man, that's the way men are in the United States. Damn it, I want to be one of those men. Because I felt that's the way it is. Men have true control in this country. And my dad, my mom runs his life, and I don't want that. I really believe it. The point is that if you're one of these people that ever say, I'm not represented, or I want to do this because I never see people that look like me or sound like me on TV, nobody does. Nobody does.
Yeah,
that's what makes Hollywood. That's what makes TV. That's what makes us admire people that are on social media and admire people that are on television, is because they're always different than our pathetic little lives that we're thinking about, because we're insecure people, and we're constantly looking at the other side of the street and thinking it's better on the other side.
Well, so that actually made me think of a scenario that I don't think a lot of people who aren't white, I guess, understand or see, right? And I'm going to share that. I know we're we're running out of time, man, because I'm feeling my sinuses going.
Yeah.
This COVID has not completely left me yet. My dog is over here whining. I don't know if you can hear
Monkeypox.
Yeah,
it's monkeypox. You don't have COVID. You have monkeypox.
So yeah. So here's a scenario, right, that I don't think a lot of people know. So that racist person, right? That anti-brown and black people person, he hates everybody. And what I mean by that is, so I had a lot of friends. Like, I grew up in a poorer area, and a lot of my friends were either Hispanic or black. That's just kind of what I grew up with. A lot of the white folks that I knew, I didn't relate to. They had, 2-story houses and Jordans and stuff. I didn't have all that when I was real little. But I was friends with a ton of black and brown folk. And that's just kind of who I felt more comfortable around. That's just who I grew up with. So even to this day, I most of my friends, if I look at my Rolodex, are either black or Spanish. I have white friends now, of course, but the majority of them are black or Spanish. So one of my previous jobs I was working at, there was a gentleman there that, and I use that term very loosely. There was a guy there I knew. It was an acquaintance. We were cordial with each other. He was a white dude, and he had a lot of very interesting philosophies on a lot of different things. Let's just say he was not too fond of people of the darker persuasion. Wasn't too fond of people waving their LGBTQ flags. He was under the impression that that's what led to the fall of the Roman Empire. Like, he had a lot of different theories and philosophies on things, right? And none of them are very positive towards women, black and brown folk, Jewish people, gay people. Like, he was that person. And him and I, he had a kinship towards me. He gravitated towards me and talked because I was white, and we talked. Until he started noticing my best friend on the planet that I was hanging out with there at the Postal Service, that I've still known right now for over 20 years, was black. When he found out him and I were black, suddenly his perception of me changed. He wasn't as cool with me anymore. And he actually, I heard through other people, he hated me more than he hated my black friends and my Spanish friends and everything else. So as much as those black people and Spanish people and gay people and everybody else will look at them like, oh my gosh, he hates me, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he does. But he hates me more because I'm supposed to know better. In his mind, I'm better and I'm supposed to know better. So the fact that I'm purposely hanging out with people who I'm better than makes me more of a problem. Like, you don't know any better. You're just doing what you do. I know better and I'm choosing it. There's a word that they used to use back in the day, and I'm not going to call it that, but we all know what it is. And so I don't think a lot of people who aren't white understand that. And so that's another reason why I get very offended nowadays when people start throwing the racist word around a lot. Like, I get a little bit more offended, I think, than some other people do, because I've had those experiences where I've had like, these people over here call me white boy this and white boy that and tell me how racist I am. And then these people over here telling me how horrible I am because I'm betraying the racist stuff. It's like, well, screw the both of you, dude. Like, I'm just trying to live my life, man. I'm just trying to be cool. But what a lot of people don't realize is there's a lot of white folks out there, if they are those individuals, they hate me just as much as, if not more, than they hate you. Like, we are kind of on the same team. Like, you think just because we share the same skin color that they overlook certain things? They don't. They don't overlook those things. And so just keep that in mind, man. And like I said, that's part of the reason why I get a little fired up sometimes when I feel like I have to defend myself, as if people are referring to me as a racist or whatever. That's why I was so eager to join the fight. That's what made me join the fight, to be honest with you, with Trump. So I wasn't a Trump fan, wasn't a Trump guy. I used to make fun of him. I still do, because he's easy to make fun of. But I just didn't like, he speaks like an idiot to me. As far as I'm concerned, he speaks like that drunken uncle that's just like, whatever, dude, go somewhere. However, I remember the day they said that he was racist. Like, I heard them say, oh, he's racist. I remember seeing on CNN on the bottom ticker, this is the moment that I joined the fight. On the bottom ticker, it said, on CNN, it said, Trump's racist tweets cause backlash, something like that. I was like, holy cow, like, what the hell did I miss? Like, in my mind, I'm thinking, oh my God, this is like earth shattering. So I immediately pulled out my phone. I went to Twitter. I looked it up and I started reading. And I kept reading. I'm like, where's the racist tweet? Like, I kept looking, and then I saw the tweet that they were referencing, And when I read the tweet, I knew exactly what he was doing. He was just an angry old man retaliating to somebody who messed with him. Like, he's got the thinnest skin.
Right.
He sued Bill Maher because Bill Maher made a joke that his mom had sex with an orangutan to have him. He literally sued Bill Maher. Yeah. But he has this thin skin. So basically, these people in Congress were just talking smack and being political, and he didn't like that. So he fired back the only way he knows how, and that's, to be aggressive and rude or whatever. But by no means was it racist in any way, shape, or form. If you think that he is and you want to make that argument, then you could turn basically anything into that. So I could see how you could turn it into it. But any normal, rational person, if you read those tweets without knowing who it was from, you would never think that they were racist. Mind you, in that same time frame, Biden came out and says, you're not black if you don't vote for me. And somehow that wasn't racist. But regardless, so when this guy said that, like, for me personally, when I read that, I was like, holy cow, like, that wasn't racist. But they literally said the ticker from a news agency, racist tweet. So that was the moment I joined the fight, because I really do have a thorn in my side when it comes to this race issue, because I've never had it my entire life. And so to have the insinuation that I am really affects me. And that's what made me jump in the fight. That's actually why I started defending Trump a little bit more, because I didn't like the fact that, like, don't throw that word around, dude, unless you've got like legitimate proof. Like, that's a major word in my book. It apparently doesn't mean anything these days, but I was raised, that's like the worst thing you can call somebody. So anyways, I digress. Back to my original point. When you start saying stuff like that about how you don't see yourself and all these other things, and I don't see me either, because they don't like me either.
That's my point.
Yeah.
And that was my point. And I think that's what we all need to remember, is none of us see ourselves up there. That's what makes it entertainment. And let's keep it entertainment. You know what I mean? TV is supposed to be different than what you're living. And then we got reality TV, and reality TV is supposed to be more real, right? But you know what? I'm not living Jersey Shore's lifestyle either. That's not my that's not in man, they're making shores of everything, man. And every shore that they go to is like they get the craziest people doing the craziest. It's like, I'm not living that either. that's not who I am either.
Yeah.
It's entertainment. It's just entertainment, and you know what? The Big Brother house, that doesn't represent my household. Survivor, that doesn't represent, a true segment of society. They do what they do for the ratings that they do it. Just remember, everybody's selling soap, people, including politicians. They're selling soap too. They're selling ideology, so they get voted in. That's it. Anyway, that's pretty much our show for today. You know what's funny though? The one last thing about flags, I did not know until my oldest daughter Dalia went on her honeymoon to Jamaica. I did not know that it was. I think it's illegal, if I'm not mistaken, to be gay in Jamaica. I did not know that. I did not know how big of a deal it was. I
mean, Jamaica's not the only country, by the way.
No, but I say that because I've never have heard it, and to have never have been. I never hear the Jamaican flag ridiculed for being an anti-gay flag. I've never heard like the gay people say you shouldn't have a Jamaican flag up because that's actually anti-gay. I've never heard such a thing, and I don't think we will, because again, that's not a certain agenda. That's not a certain way that we're being taught. I see Jamaican flag. I think Usain Bolt. I think
weed.
I think
hedonism.
Bob Marley. I think Bob Marley. I think hedonism. I think just fun, good times. I'm very, very shocked though that it's not looked upon as this horribly oppressive flag that apparently it might be to some people, but it's not the agenda. Anyway, the American flag is supposedly, even though you can get married gay here, but that's more oppressive than the Jamaican flag, where you can't get married there in Jamaica if you're gay. I just don't get these little tiny things, man. I think we're more united than not, and I do believe divided we fall, and I think that's the push. I think there's always been a push to divide us by other countries, by our enemies. They know that's the weapon they can beat us with. They can't beat us with a bullet. They can't beat us with their Air Force. They can't beat us with their Navy. They can beat us though with ourselves. They can beat us by dividing us, and that's who's dividing us. Just remember that. Anyway, I'm pretty much done. You done? You got anything left to do, monkeypox boy?
Yeah, I'm toast, man. I'm ready to go sit and do nothing. I feel like I'm getting a fever again.
Well,
Whatever.
Well, there's Richard Coleman.
I'm not even going to address that one.
Watching us on Facebook Live. There's his thing. Anyway, from the Dharma guy, that's him. From the Dope Doctor, that's me. And we are Dope and Dharma. And this was We the Middle, where we talk about political issues from a middle perspective. We're not Crips. We're not Bloods. We love both mom and dad alike. Adios, amigos. It's time for a taco. Goodbye.